Welcome back. Once you understand how to use each aspect of the Vyond process, and that includes working with characters and adding them to your canvas, working with props, adding them to your canvas, working with charts, adding them to your canvas, and adding text, as well as to be able to manipulate all of this content using all of the appropriate motion effects, such as action, expression, dialogue, as well as exit, motion, and entry effects. Additionally, you have some understanding of adding audio to your timeline. The question is there a basic process that you can use in order to script a video and then add it to Vyond in a timeline fashion? And we'll explore that in this course, including starting with an existing video or working with an audio transcription. We'll also look at working and starting with an existing article, as well as working with an existing PowerPoint presentation. We'll do that with the expectation of being able to develop one consistent process that you can use in order to work inside of Vyond to create an animated video to match the content you want to communicate. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in the first video. Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we are going to start the process of creating a video script from an existing video. Now, in order to undergo this process, you should be using your own videos. So although technically we are not signed into our YouTube account, you should be signed into your YouTube account. And this step that we're going to be taking, you should only use with videos that you have created and that you have the rights to work with. We're going to click on one video and we're going to start this process. Once we get to this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go to these three dots and then we're going to click on Open Transcript. You're then going to see the entire transcript of your video. What you're going to do is you're going to select your entire video and you're going to copy the whole thing. Now, a good idea to do would be to toggle off the timestamps. So then you don't have the timestamps. Then what you're going to do is you're going to copy this entire transcript and we're just going to select the entire thing. And we're going to right click this and we're going to copy it. And then what we're going to do is we're then going to put it inside of a Microsoft Word document. We're then just going to paste the content inside of this document. Now we can undertake the editing process from this point, but it might be a better idea for us to go to the View area and then for us to go to the Outline area. And then you'll notice then that we have these outline points. And what we're going to be able to do from this point is to create a PowerPoint script. However, one of the things that you want to do is you want to start eliminating some of these sentences or some of the points that aren't going to make sense or that will not make for good scenes or slides. And so basically in creating this script, you're going to start working through content in a bullet point fashion, and you want to be able to create a bullet point outline once you've completed this process. Now for the sake of this video, we're just going to eliminate most of the text and assume that we have a bullet point outline. Now if you go through this step, this is going to be the step that's going to take you a while to do, because what you're doing is you're making sure that you're creating one independent point per line. So now assuming that you have edited this to 1 point per line, what you're going to do now is you're going to save this to your hard drive. We're going to stop the video right here, and in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to go through this process using audio only. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we can undertake the same process in order to create a transcript from audio by having audio transcribed. And there are several services that are available that are cost effective. One popular service is rev.com, which as of the recording of this video is $1 per minute. Now that's more than you want to spend for an individual video. You can also use machine transcription. And there are a number of popular services that are cost effective, such as Timmy, which as of the recording of this video is 10 cents per minute. There's also Trent, which has a free trial and has a subscription-based system, as well as Otter.ai. They also have pricing available, which is about $10 for 6,000 minutes. And to get started, all you'll need to do is to select your audio file and upload it to the service. You are now looking inside of Timmy.com. Now, as an example, we are looking at the inside of Timmy.com, and assuming that you have already submitted your audio to be transcribed and that it has been processed, you can then look at your transcript. Now, obviously, each service works differently. Timmy actually gives you the transcript also. What you can then do is you can click this download button. What you can do now is download this content. Timmy will allow you to take out the speaker names and the transcripts and then download into your Microsoft Word document. You can then open your Microsoft Word document. You'll then enable editing. You'll then look at your view section. And what you're going to do is you're then going to create the outline view. Now, you do have a machine transcription, so you are going to have to take some of the words to make sense of them and then create an outline with them. And basically what you're looking to do is you're looking to have one major point per line. And to do that, you're going to use the return button to create different points. Now, it's important that you create one independent point per bullet point. Those bullet points are going to help you to create your script using PowerPoint in a later video. So once you have cleaned up your Microsoft Word document, you will then be ready to go on to the next step. And we're going to stop the video right here, and we're going to undertake the same process by using an existing article. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, you can undertake the same process from an existing article as long as that article is in your Microsoft Word document. Once it's inside of your Microsoft Word document, what you'll want to do first is you'll want to create a bullet point outline. And you can do this fairly easily with an article by taking out every other sentence other than the first sentence of every paragraph. Now, while this is not an exact method, it's one that you can do fairly quickly. Now, once you have your data inside of your Microsoft Word document, you're going to go to the View section of Microsoft Word. You're then going to go to the Outline section. And you're going to notice then that your points will line up in the outline form. You're then going to resave your document as an outline. Now, because you're going to be turning each one of these into pictures, you do want to take your time and make sure that this is done for someone that is listening. However, taking out all of the other information after the first sentence can work extremely well. And once you've saved your information, you are then ready to go to the next step. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can create a video script from an existing PowerPoint presentation. So for example, in this case, we're looking at a document inside of Microsoft PowerPoint. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the View section. When you go to the View section, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Outline View. Once you go to the Outline View, what you're going to notice is that you're going to have some information to come on your left side menu. And basically what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to undertake the same process that you did with your Microsoft Word document. You're going to use the first sentence of every slide. And so in this case, we're just going to go through the outline in this way, and we're going to eliminate all of these sentences after the first one within each slide. We can eliminate slides by deleting them. And we can also then continue on the process of creating one line per slide. If you want to delete multiple slides, what you can do is you can highlight one slide by placing your cursor on top of the slide, hitting the Control button, clicking on top of all of the slides that you want to delete. You can also select all the content that you want to delete in that way, and you can click the Delete button, and then you will then delete those slides, and all you will have left then is going to be the outline that you created with one sentence per slide and one idea per slide. And basically what you're doing here is you're creating an outline for your storyboard as well as for your script. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you should now have an outline for one of your videos, and that outline should have one complete thought for each bullet point or line. And so what you're going to do now is you're now going to convert your Word document in the outline form into a Microsoft PowerPoint document that you're going to use both to storyboard as well as to record your script. So you want to make sure that when you close the document and when it's saved, you want to make sure that the outline form is still in place. So you're going to X out of your document from that view. You're then going to open up a new document inside of PowerPoint. And the first thing you're going to do with the PowerPoint is you're going to go to the View command, and basically then you're going to go to your Slide Master. When you get to the Slide Master, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the very top of your Slide Master, and you're going to click on your master slide. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take out the master slide box, you're going to take out your style box, and you're going to pour your title into the middle of your document. What you're then going to do is you're going to close out of the master view. And then what you're going to do is you're then going to import your saved outline into your document. And you're going to do that by going to your new slide. You're going to go to the drop down arrow, and then you're going to click Slides from Outline. You're then going to pick up the outline that you're going to be placing inside of your PowerPoint. You're then going to click Insert. That's going to bring your document into your PowerPoint. What you're then going to do is you're then going to get rid of your first slide. And as you scroll through your document, what you're going to see is that you're going to have each of your outlines, bullet points, on a separate slide. Now what this will facilitate is for you to record your script as well as storyboarding your video. So what you're going to do now is you're going to save your PowerPoint presentation as a new document that you're going to use for the storyboard and for your script. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now when you record the PowerPoint, what you're going to be using is the slideshow view. And you're going to be using this from your slideshow view from the beginning. And one of the things you want to understand is you want to understand the view that allows you to look at your entire presentation at a glance. And so what we're going to do is we're going to switch our display settings so that we have on our screen the presenter view. And so you're looking at the presenter view. And so if you want to switch out the presenter view, you'd go to this link and then click Swap Presenter View and Slideshow. Once again, in order to bring it back, we'll go back to that menu and bring the presenter view back. Now the important thing about the presenter view that you'll want to note is that any notes that you have for your presentation will be beneath the slide that you are going to be reading or narrating. So if you want to narrate from your notes section, you can do that. If you want to narrate from the slides, you can do that. And if you want to speak extemporaneously, you can do that by using your notes. So what you want to do is you want to place any notes that you're going to have in this area of your slide. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to switch our display settings back. We're going to escape back into our presentation. And what we're going to now do is we're going to go to our notes section. And we can do that in PowerPoint by going to the very bottom, clicking on the notes, and then we can click in to add in our notes. And you'll see content now in your notes section. So what we're going to do right now is go back into our slideshow view, and we're going to switch back to our presenter view. And you'll see our notes written in here that we place at the bottom of our slide that we can refer to while we are recording. Now, as you are recording your audio, you will be able to scroll through your slides as they occur, and then you'll also be able to refer to your notes. And it's fairly important that you want to make sure that you keep your notes segregated to the slide that you're going to be working on. That's going to be important as you start the storyboard process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that you have your script and your storyboard, you're now ready to start the recording process. And in order to record your audio, you can use a free program called Audacity that works on both the Mac and the personal computer. If you already use a screencast recorder, such as Camtasia, you can also create audio and edit that audio using Camtasia Studio. And you can do the same thing with Screencast-O-Matic as long as you have editing capability. And what you're going to do now is you're going to turn on your slideshow. And what you're going to do to start the recording process is to switch to your presenter view, as we are looking at right now. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to narrate each section of your presentation. Now, as you narrate for audio, what you want to note is that each of your slides should be one thought and one scene in your presentation. And that's important because we're going to storyboard each of these slides as one scene. And so as you read your notes and as you go through each part of your video, what you're doing is you're creating audio that you will eventually turn into video, slide by slide or scene by scene. And so the main idea will be the idea that you have on your slide, even if you choose to elaborate using your notes. Now, once you complete this process, you're going to stop your audio and then you're going to edit the audio for either noise or mistakes. Now, regardless of your editing software, what you'll want to do is you'll want to try to do some kind of noise reduction. Now, the process inside of Camtasia is to take some of the noise that's existent in some of the silent parts. What you would do is you would click on Enable Noise Removal. And then what you can do is level off the volume. And in Camtasia, what you do is you'd save this audio as a project. And once it's saved as a project, you would go through the process of your editing software to produce the MP3. Inside of Camtasia, what you do is go to Produce and Share, and you produce an audio-only file to your hard drive. You click Next, and then produce the file where you want it to be on your hard drive by clicking Finish. That will take you through a process. In this case, we are overwriting an existing file. You would probably not have that happen. We're going to click Yes, and then we're going to have our file created. You would then have your audio file ready to be used inside of your video software. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you use your video editing software in particular, there is an extra step that you can really use to help yourself. In this case, we are looking at Camtasia, and we recorded our video in the presenter view, but we recorded each slide. And so what you'll notice is that each slide will change as the thought changes. Now, because we're going to storyboard each one of these panels, or in some cases 2 panels at a time, this is going to help us because when we look at the video, we will know exactly where our timing is going to be in terms of the audio. So we'll know about how long each scene is going to be, and that will help us once we get into Vyond. And so one thing that you can do, again, only if you use your video software to create the audio, is to actually produce a video also. And what we're going to do is we're going to click Produce and Share, and we're then going to produce an MP4 video. And we're then going to click Next, and we're going to produce that video onto our hard drive. Now, it isn't necessary the video would be super high quality. What's really important is that we can note the changing of the slides with our audio and our words. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click this Next button, and we're then going to produce our video, and that video is then going to help us to produce our timings. Now, what we can do is while the video is playing is we can note the point at which each of the slides change and note the time on the timeline, because this is how we want our same time to be inside of Vyond. And so if we know how long each scene is going to be, we're going to be able to program that into Vyond when we are creating our visual scenes. We can also note this inside of our video editing software. For example, if we drag our cursor, we can note the point at which the time changes at each one of the slides. If we write that down, we'll be able to plug this into Vyond and use it when we're creating our scene timings. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now that we have our video created, we are now ready to make our video inside of Vyond. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click Make a Video. We're then going to decide which video we're going to make. We're going to select Business Friendly, and that's going to open us up into a particular timeline. And we're going to use that timeline in order to upload our audio that we just created for our storyboard. So you'll notice here that there is a scene here. And what we're going to do with this scene is we're going to just cut this scene so that we now have no scene. And basically what we're going to do now is we're going to upload our audio. What we're then going to do is click Upload. We're then going to grab our audio. So we're going to click Import, and we're going to grab our audio file. And our audio file is now available. And now that that audio is available, we're going to click to make it available on our timeline. And we'll just click on top of the audio. That's going to add the audio to our timeline. So what we now have is our audio available, and we have a scene that we have not yet created. What we can now do is start adding to our audio in order to create our video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now what you can also do at this point is you can add in music to your audio. And to do that, what you're going to do first is you're going to note what your timing is. And we're going to shrink down the timeline so we can see the total length of our voiceover. And we can see that here on our timeline. So what we're going to do is we're going to go either to royalty-free music that we already have on our hard drive, or we can use the royalty-free music inside of Vyond. Now you can go to this area, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to your background music section. And you're going to try to find music that you think fits what you're trying to communicate, and then you're going to add it to your timeline. And all you'll need to do is to click on the music, and that's going to add the music to your timeline. All you need to do then is you're going to click on the audio. That will then add the audio to your timeline. What we're then going to do is we're then going to look at the volume of our voiceover and the volume of the music. In this case, we can right-click this volume. We can click Settings. And what we can do is we can reduce the volume on the music. And you'll notice then that our volume starts to reduce. We can then click Save. We can then raise the volume on our voiceover. Now, if we look at our voiceover is going to be at 100%. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go back and lower our audio more. So we're going to go back to the audio. We're going to right-click it. We're going to go into the settings. We're going to lower this now to 20%. So now what we're looking at is we're looking at our voiceover and our audio playing in the background. So once we have this sound the way we want it, what we're going to do is we're going to click the save in order to make sure that our volume changes are locked in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come to the end of our scene, and we're going to split off the audio file and then delete it. We're also going to come to that same point in the timeline for our music, and we're going to split that file and then delete it. What we're also going to do now is go to our music file. We're going to go to the settings, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on this button to add in fading. And basically now this music file is going to fade out at the end. We're now going to click Save. And so basically now we have an entire audio which includes our voiceover as well as our music for us to now start creating our scenes. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. So what we're now going to do is we're going to add in our slide timings in order to place our scenes inside of the video. So for example, we're going to take this first scene and we're going to assume that our slide timing is about at this point. Now if we want, or we're undecided, we can add in a blank scene. And we're going to drag this to the second timing point. And again, all this is going to be dictated by the slide timings that you have already recorded when you put together your audio. And you're going to continue to add in your slide timings. Now that we have our timing, what we're going to do is we're going to swap in scenes according to the theme we want to use. So for example, we're going to right click our scene and we're going to click swap. What we can do here is we can decide to use business friendly templates, whiteboard animation templates, or contemporary templates. We're going to start with business friendly templates. We're going to choose education themes. When we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to select a particular education theme by clicking on it. Now that's going to change our first scene, but what you'll notice is that this scene now has changed the timing. What we want to do is make sure that this timing is going to match our first recorded timing, so we're going to stretch this back to the 8-second mark. And we're then going to do the same thing for the other scenes. We're going to click swap. We're then going to swap in a different theme. And now that we have our scenes, we are ready to start the storyboard process. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in the storyboarding process, you're going to use the script that you created in order to work through each scene. Now each scene was narrated with the timings you already have accounted for. And so what you're going to do is start with slide 1, and you're going to match that up with what you narrated. You're then going to go to slide 2, and then you're going to storyboard slide 2 according to the element that you narrated. And you're going to do the same thing for all of your slides. For example, you go to slide 4, and then you're going to storyboard slide 4. That means then that you're going to use the elements within Vyond in order to make sure that it matches what you are going to be talking about according to the timing that you're going to have. That means that you may take out certain elements and add those elements that you think are necessary. You'll add in the props and actions that you think are appropriate to match your storyboarding. And you'll effectively do this for each scene in order to reflect what you are narrating. Now once you've done that for each scene, you'll then click Save. What you'll then want to do is you'll then want to preview your video so that you'll make sure that your timing between scenes is what you want it to be. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now when you are working with the contemporary style as well as with the business style, what you're taking advantage of is both color and dialogue. However, this is very complex to match up, and in order to make it realistic, you'd have to match up the audio and dialogue and voices frame by frame. It's going to be very time consuming. One of the easier ways to do a video inside of Vyond and with animation software is to use whiteboard style videos. One of the reasons for this is because when you start with a whiteboard style animation, you can either start with a scene or you can even start with a blank template. Whiteboard style videos tend to be simpler. You can start with a character, and you can even start with some of the words in your script. And you can even do this frame by frame to match up your audio with the words. So for example, if we were to go and add in a character, and we were to add in a whiteboard character, and then we were to add in text, many times this is more than enough in order to have a complete whiteboard video scene. Yet at the same time, you'll be able to take advantage of the actions inside of an animated video. And you can add in more colors to the video by adding in a background. And we will show you that in a future video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. When you are storyboarding a whiteboard style video, you can use some of your timing to write in the words from your script. And if you have done a good job of making sure that you only have one sentence, you can either use the entire phrase from your script/storyboard, or in some cases you can use the whole thing. And you can see here in our title scene, all we did was we took the title from our initial slide in the script. We added it directly to our storyboard. And we can do the same thing with our content on other slides. And when we're using whiteboard style videos, since most of what we're doing is going to be text, we can size up our font. So we can go into our text settings, we can size up the font so that it appears on more of the screen. When we are looking for props or characters, we're then really looking for keywords. So for example, we can take a character and we can swap them. In some cases, what we might do is swap the person for another person or even another prop. And what we're trying to do within the allotted time is we're trying to use the hand motions and the content in order to keep the attention of the viewer. And so this tends to be a simpler way of being able to create animated videos. When it comes to text, what we're trying to do is we're making sure that we have an enter effect. And we're making sure that what we're using is the whiteboard animation action. We can use either the illustration action, pen only, or a real hand writing, or just writing only. And we can set the duration based on how long we know the scene is. For example, if we know our scene is going to be about 4 seconds long, we can set the duration at about 3 to 3.5 seconds here. And what we'll do right now is we're going to preview this particular slide. And to do that, we're going to go to this preview button. We're then going to click preview from here. Then we're going to see how this slide is going to progress. Now, when we are working with a whiteboard video, one of the things that we can do is we can be more careful about how our image appears if we want to keep the focus on the writing. And so we're going to cover that in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now, if you work with the basic premise of having one image and then writing out one of the phrases or sometimes your entire phrase to keep within the timing that you have for your slide, what you may discover is that the elements may conflict. So for example, if we were to preview this slide from here, one of the things you'll notice is that we have two sets of writing. And that may not be the way you want to add your image to the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to exit out of the preview mode, and we're going to keep the writing for our text. However, when it comes to the image, what we're going to do is we're going to consider using the image in a way other than to have it drawn or written. And so what we're going to do is to go to the enter effect, and we're then going to go to this action. And basically what we want to do is we want to use one of the other images. For example, one thing we can consider doing would be a blur, so it blurs in, or one of the other images, such as fading. And in this case, what we can do is we can click apply, and we can have it so that the duration is going to be only 1 second. Another thing that we can do is we can just have it appear instantly. So for example, we're going to preview the instant, and that means then that when the slide starts, it's going to be there. That's one of the easiest ways to put together an animated video. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click instant, and basically you'll notice here there's no duration because when the slide starts, the image is already there. So we're going to leave this to apply. What we're going to do now is we're going to preview this slide from here. And what you'll notice here is that the image, it already appears there. Now, when you're using images, one of the things you can do is you can use an image to represent a concept without having a word on that image. So in this case, we can try to find another image. We're going to click swap, and we're going to try to find something else that's representative that doesn't have words on it. And so if we try a different keyword, you'll notice that we do have another image. We can swap for this image. And so basically now what we have here is we have an image that's going to appear immediately, and then we're going to have writing on our slide. So what we're going to do now is we're going to preview the slide from here. What's going to happen is the slide's going to start with the image, and the writing is going to continue for the entire slide. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. When you're working with images, there are other functions that you can use in order to give your video some variety. One of the things you can do is you can focus in using the camera view. When you click on the background in particular, what you're going to notice is that the camera view is available. We can click that camera view, we can add the camera, and what we can do is we can focus on a specific aspect of the slide. So for example, we can click this camera view, and what we can do is we can then either focus in on the image, and we're going to slide in on the image with the other window. Or we can focus on the words instead. And you'll see what the camera view does here by previewing from here. And what's going to happen is that our writing is going to start, and then we then focus in on the image. We're now going to exit out of this view. We're now going to do away with the camera. What we can also do is we can exit out of the image. So for example, what we can do is we can click on this image. We can then click the exit effect. And then what we can do is we can create an exit effect. And again, we can use the same effects that we had. One thing that we can do is we can then fade out the image. And so in this case, we're going to take a look at what this means. And so you'll see the image will then fade out. So we're going to add in this effect. And what you're going to do is you're going to get some timing that you can implement. So we can change the timing and the duration. Now the delay is going to be about 4 seconds, which will give the entry effects time to take place. And then the duration of the exit is going to be about ½ a second. So what we can do is we can see how this is going to work. And all we need to do is to go to the preview. We can preview from here, and then we can see what happens to our image when that happens. And basically, you're going to see that image fade out. So there are several aspects of the process that we can look to do when we have images in our whiteboard videos. If we keep our images simple, we can increase the action with exit and entry effects. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when you are varying individual scenes, one of the things you can do is you can change the background of each scene. So for example, one of the things we can do is we can place our cursor inside of the background. We can then click on top of that background, and we can change the base color. In this case, we can choose the base color. And you'll see then that our base color then changes. What we can also do is we can add in a picture background. So what we can do is click on the background. We can then click this arrow. And you're going to see that we can add either business-friendly backgrounds or we can add contemporary backgrounds, even though we are doing this animated video. We're going to click locations here. And we're going to then click this airport hallway. That's going to change our background. Now, while we may not use this background in particular, we can find a background that's going to be appropriate for the content that we are demonstrating or writing. And this is another way of being able to take the simplicity of creating a whiteboard video and adding in a background that has color and depth to it. Now, if you're working with the text, we can click on top of the text, and then we can change the color of the text. We can change the color to something that would be contrasting with the background. And you'll see that our text color then changes. So if we're going to use a background that's going to be different, we can change the text color, and we can change the nature of our image. We can click on top of the image, and we can change the outline or the stroke color, and we can change the fill color. So for example, we can click this fill color, we can change it to all black. We can change the stroke color to all white. So once again, we have ways that we can vary this animation while still retaining the simplicity of using whiteboard content. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the things you may find is that your audio and your slide may not match. And one of the things that you may do in terms of timing to add a little bit of time to any one of the slides is to use a transition. For example, if we are on the slide and we have one slide highlighted, we can add a transition to the beginning of this slide. So to do that, we're going to go to this link that says Scene Transition. We're then going to be able to choose one of the transitions that we have here. Once we decide which one that we're going to choose, we can then determine the important part, which is going to be the duration. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to test to determine if the transition adds enough time to match your audio to your slide. For example, we can add in 2 seconds to the transition here. What we can do is we can take a look at the preview. And we can either preview from here or at the start. When we do the preview, we'll be able to see how long our transition works and what it adds to the actual timing. We can do the same thing at the beginning of another scene. We can add in transition time, which then helps us to match up our audio and our slide. We can add in another scene transition at the beginning. We can determine what that transition is. And then the most important part, if we're trying to match audio and video, is to make sure that the duration gives us enough to sync them together. And the only way to know is to watch your preview from the beginning all the way through your video. And once you've added your transition and your audio matches your video, you can then save your presentation. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, in this course, we've walked through the basics of setting up whiteboard videos in order to time to our script. We were able to create a script from an existing video. We were able to use transcription in order to create a script from existing audio. We were able to create a script from an existing article, as well as an existing PowerPoint. We then used the features inside of Vyond in order to match that audio with scenes that we put together using whiteboard videos as well as contemporary and business style. In the end, we focused on the whiteboard style because it's the simplest to put together as well as the simplest to match and sync with your audio. We also looked at the effect of adding in music and how we can match that music with our existing voiceover, as well as using transitions in order to match our timing. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.